What do we know about the Pleiadians, like cognitive abilities, and compare them to humans?
They're higher IQ. Their IQ is probably over 200.
Okay.
Their cognitive ability is probably, we can't even measure what it would be. But remember, we're only dealing with J-Rod, one particular species amongst millions. We relate only to him and not to others, except there were astronauts that had visited the planet, his planet, and commingled with others. And they find them to be just as benevolent as J-Rod is. So we can say, I think, because we tested the water, so to speak, that everything is benevolent on that planet. They've never harmed anyone. They don't want to harm anyone. But, they have a military only for defense systems. But their ability to do things and to rationalize things are above and beyond anything that humans can do, because their technology is so advanced. It's thousands of years more advanced than we are. So we can say they've been around probably 100 to 200,000 years more than we have in order for the advancement of their technology.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. But backing up a little bit with their cognitive abilities, what about consciousness? Are they remote viewing? Are they doing advanced consciousness, I guess, protocols or techniques? Like, what's the difference between us and them?
They are so advanced in consciousness that they actually taught us, or taught a group of our astronauts, how to go to the top level of consciousness. I think it's 5 or 6 or maybe 7. They go in degrees of consciousness. In order to fly the craft that they manufactured, Kronos 4, the astronauts, our astronauts, human astronauts, had to be trained in how to control their consciousness and utilize their consciousness to fly that craft. And it has to be a 6 or a 7 level. Now, on Earth, lucky to have one, but they are able to go to the top level of consciousness. I know I've read a book on consciousness. I'm fascinated with consciousness. There are some Indians from India and Tibetans, and the Buddhist monks have levels of consciousness. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what they're referring to, J-Rod's referring to, in order to make your mind take over something and manipulate it so it can fly a complicated craft. You have to really be on that top level.
But what does that mean? Like, just generally talk about level 1 consciousness to level 7. Like, what's the difference, and what do you have to gain in like skills or abilities to get there?
I don't know the training session, but what he said, and he went through the training. And I'm talking to Ben, who's actually gone through it. He said it's a revelation when you can go through what they are teaching you, what a J-Rod, and it's only J-Rod, are teaching you, and how to get to those different levels. He said, consciousness, he thought, was just being awake. I'm conscious.
Yeah.
But then he realizes that they start developing systems, and he didn't go into how that was trained. But he says when you start raising your consciousness level, you can start doing things like moving a phone. He said the first time that he was trained in it, he had a flip phone. Everybody remembers the flip phone.
Yep.
And it was on a desk, and he was able to not only move that flip phone, but open it up.
Telekinesis,
part of consciousness. They don't differentiate between telekinesis or any of the other paranormal things that we can do. They just consider it levels of consciousness. And when you get to a certain level of consciousness, you can sit in a spacecraft and use your mind to start the engines and fly the craft.
Wait, okay. So if the astronauts have to get to level 7 consciousness to control the craft, does that mean that they have other psychic gifts that they've learned through this training along the way, like telekinesis, being clairvoyant, precognition?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so
every one of these astronauts have this unique ability that was taught to them by J-Rod. That's why he says, you have that ability. You just have to be taught how to use it. I said, I want to know. I want to be able to do these things.
Yeah, me too.
And he said, well, you're going to have to get a seat with J-Rod in his classroom.